Last Monday, I started therapy. I spent an hour with my therapist, a wonderfully intuitive and thoughtful woman. In preparation, she asked me to put together a list of all the traumas I could remember, along with locations and descriptions. I recorded the who, what, where, when, and why of each. I had a list over 40 numbers long. To be fair, some of them are ancillary to other traumas and will come together nicely. So I sent the list to my therapist. Let's call her Gwen for our first session. And I'm glad I did. She organized things into some possible categories and sent me informational reading ahead of the session. Is it possible, she asked, that your mother may have had some of these tendencies? Well, it was not only possible, it explained so many of the things I experienced as a child and allowed me, for the first time ever, to understand why things were as they were. She was concerned that I might have difficulty with this, but actually, it made me feel free for the first time in my life. I wasn't imagining things. It wasn't me. Confusion lifted. On my way to the therapy appointment, I actually wanted to dance. Once there, I had no interest in reading up on things. That knowledge was enough, and I was ready for the next step. Well, Dad has some issues too, and knowing them was also enough. Next, in addition to the list of traumas, I had sent her a story I wrote, The Baby, the Prostitute, and Me, which is on my blog on wheretofindbread.us, in which I write about a dream I've had over and over throughout the years. The dream was very disturbing, and it would awaken me from my sleep crying. Do you want to work on that? She asked. Let's do it, I said, and I began weeping. At the beginning of our session, she had given me two small discs to hold between my thumb and forefinger. She called them paddles. They emitted vibrations, first one and then the other, alternating bilateral stimulation, it's called. She explained, and this is my internet research explanation, not hers, that trauma affects the amygdala and the hippocampus, leading to fragmented or suppressed memories called somatic memory. That can lead to strong emotional reactions, feeling stuck in the past, and can cause forgetfulness, confusion, disassociation, and more. It can prevent involvement of the prefrontal cortex, that part of the brain that's involved in decision making, in being rational and organizing your thoughts. Well, I was familiar with all of these. Trauma I experienced from leaving my childhood home caused such a flood of emotions that I was unable to bear that dream. I was unable to even read that story I wrote about the dream until until therapy, that is. Gwen asked me questions about the dream. I sobbed and sobbed. She asked me where I felt the anguish in my body, and it was deep in my diaphragm. My muscles contracted, and I started to feel heartburn even start in my esophagus. The paddles vibrated from one side to the other, and as we worked through her questions and I got some answers, I found my sobs were subsiding and my diaphragm loosened. My heartburn disappeared, and I started to feel warm. So when I got home, I got out that story and I read it aloud, and I didn't have any tears.